Namaskar. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. We know that there people have joined today from 22 plus countries. So starting from Albania, Australia, and other places, New Mexico, Mexico, Chile. So thank you for joining this very important webinar because sometimes we find that we love Ayurveda, we do promote Ayurveda, yet what is the science behind it? Sometimes we wonder. We have with us a very special guest today, and Dr. Purnima ji. Dr. Purnima is in Boston also. She will be introducing Professor Sharma a little later. But before that, I just wanted to say a few words about our Boston Center of Excellence for Health and Human Development. Those of you are not familiar with it, we have started this initiative, this Center of Excellence, a few years back to bring together experts, researchers, scientists from both modern medicine, health systems, as well as traditional health systems of India, including yoga and Ayurveda. We have organized several conferences. We have organized many such seminars and webinars, and we are trying to create a network of experts globally who can do original research for better promotion, positioning of traditional systems of medicine, both from India and perhaps from other countries where we have seen traditional medicine has been there for thousands of years, especially in India. As far as we can think of history, yoga and Ayurveda has been there in the societies, and people lived for long, not necessarily in today's time, but people did have good lives. So welcome again on behalf of Boston Center of Excellence. We are going to start today's webinar. A special subject, Ayurveda is epigenetics. That's Professor Sharma's conclusion. And thank you all for joining. Let me quickly introduce Dr. Purnima. She is also in Boston area. She is a member of our board of Boston Center of Excellence. She's a physician and surgeon, and she has been practicing for many years. Recently, she has retired from her practice, and she has joined with us. And she has also has a foundation for Health is Wealth Foundation, which is also sponsoring this today's event. And thank you, Dr. Purnima, and please introduce our special guest today. Thank you.
Namaste. It's an honor and a privilege to have Dr. Sharma on this particular program. He's a professor and former director of Division of Cancer Prevention and Natural Product Research at Ohio State University College of Medicine in Columbus, Ohio. He has published more than 150 research papers, which include extensive research on various Ayurvedic modalities, and has written 6 books related to Ayurveda, including Ayurvedic Healing and Dynamic DNA. Dr. Sharma has lectured and has presented his research worldwide at various medical institutions and conferences, including FDA, which is Food and Drug Administration in USA, National Institute of Health, the National Cancer Institution, and WHO. He's a fellow of National Academy of Ayurveda at Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. He's also a fellow of American College of Nutrition and a fellow of the Royal College of Physicians of Canada. Dr. Sharma is a diplomate of American Board of Integrative Holistic Medicine and the American Board of Pathology. He received gold medal for his applied research paper on Ayurveda in 2010, and he has also been awarded with Veda Vyasa Award in 2016 for his book Ayurvedic Healing from Association of Ayurvedic Professionals of North American sorry, North America. Dr. Sharma is a member of various national and international professional societies. It is indeed an honor to introduce you also as my own healer, and he's been helping me for past 4 years and given me a lot of tips, and I have, in a way, I'm a medical miracle after surviving leukemia, which for which I was given only 2.5 years, and it's 17 years, and I think it has affected the yoga, and Ayurveda has made a big difference in my quality of life. Of course, extension of life is important, but quality of life has been good with all the practice of Ayurveda and yoga. So with that introduction, I'll give it to Dr. Sharma, and namaste again, and we'll speak to you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Purnima. I'm going to talk about how Ayurveda is epigenetics, and before we go that, what I'm going to do, talk about the origin. Didn't move. That's fine. So Ayurveda is science of life. And before we go into the details of epigenetics and all that, we want to talk about where the Ayurveda came from and how does it relate to life. Because it says science of life. And what is life? Ayus is life and Veda is knowledge. Life, according to Ayurveda, is a combination of consciousness. Consciousness is Chetna or self, plus mind, sense, and bodies. So you can see right here the mind, sense, organs, and bodies are separate part than consciousness. A lot of people confuse consciousness with mind, which is not correct. Ayurveda separates them. Now let's talk about where this Ayurveda, what is the origin of Ayurveda? It talks about life. It really ultimate supreme reality, which different individuals and different cultures call it different names. In Ayurveda, it is known as Brahman, and Brahman can be unmanifest and manifest. Unmanifest means our sense organs and our mind is incapable of experiencing it. It is conscious energy. Conscious means it has consciousness, and energy means it has power and energy. This is what Brahman is, and Brahman is spread all over. It is everywhere. There is no place it is not. And when it manifests thing, so Brahman can be unmanifest and manifest. So manifestation is not creation. It is basically manifestation of what it was before. You cannot manifest something out of nothing. Just like from DNA, the whole body is created. So it's not creating something new. The knowledge was already there. Similarly, the Brahman has the total knowledge and manifests the whole world. Brahman is the consciousness of Brahman. It has two things in Brahman, consciousness and energy. So consciousness is also known as Purusha, is also known as Prakriti, is also known as Prana. So these are different names at different times. When you're describing different properties, you call it different names. When the consciousness starts manifesting, when Brahman starts manifesting, the consciousness goes in motion. It creates vibration, and one of the vibration which is created, the original vibration for creation, for manifestation, is Om. And this vibration ultimately precipitates into matter. The second thing which is created is energy to move, and that energy which moves is known as prana. And prana is also known as prakriti, but here we are talking about prana because it is energy which is just like when this universe came into existence, there was a big bang, and the big bang came with big energy, and that was the prana. And and that prana emits photons. That's why we talk about in the other dimension, people call it heaven, there is all this light. And actually, light is also permeated through the human body and everything in creation. And I will show you some of that. So when the Ayurveda talks about, so between this energy and Om vibrations, and which emits prana or photons, the particles, the combination of this ultimately creates the whole universe. So Ayurveda says Ayu is equal to life, and life is equal to prana. So when somebody drops his body, what happens? The prana is left, the consciousness is not left. And in the physical body, the DNA represents the Brahman in physiology, which we talked about. Conscious energy is it is manifesting in the physiology through which it works in the human body. So let me show you that prana in the humans. There's a Curlian photography device, and if you look at human is a spatial camera which can show you these photons coming out throughout the body. So you can see the humans have these photons, they have photonic or light body. Everybody has light body. It is covered up by a physical body. So when you drop the physical body, the light body becomes much more visible, especially on the other side. And this is not limited just to humans. Everything which is manifested in creation has light. So you can see in the leaves, you can see the light, you can see in the apple, and if you put a coin, take the photograph, you will see the light. So what is light? Light is prana. So it shows you that prana is creating and manifesting everything in the universe. So everything coming from the same source. Now we'll come to that. What is the physical manifestation? How the Brahman, the ultimate energy, works through the body. The DNA is two-stranded. See the two strands here? Is present on all living species. The inanimate objects do not have DNA. They do not have DNA. Excuse me. So they cannot have the nervous system. And nervous system is created after DNA comes into existence. And nervous system is there. When it comes, what happens? The body is created and the nervous system, then you have the mind, intellect, and ego, and they can manifest the consciousness. So DNA is present in all living species, and the difference is in the order of bases. These are the bases which are present in the DNA, and there are 4 bases. Average human being has 37 trillion cells, and 3 trillion cells are nucleated cells, and every nucleated cell has DNA, and DNA has total knowledge of the whole thing, and less than 2% of the coding genes in the DNA, and less than 2% is really creating the human body. So there is tremendous amount of knowledge which is present in every part of the body. 125 billion miles of DNA in human body, long enough to wrap around the earth 5 million times. So what is the function of DNA? It's a translator between information field and organism. What happens when you have strong intentions? This is coming from consciousness, from the mind. Those intentions travel through biochemical and molecular energy and create photon, and through the photon they talk to the DNA, communicate to the DNA, and DNA will manifest what you want. And the DNA and cellular metabolites are also working through the DNA. So DNA and photons are running the whole physiology on a very deeper level. The 4 bases of the DNA, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosines. In the Vedic terminology, they talk about Brahma with 4 heads. These are the 4 heads you can see is present in the DNA in every living being. These 4 bases in different combinations create different DNA molecules and are responsible for all living creatures. So all living creatures are related. DNA is responsible for the creation of nervous system through which consciousness can reflect a unique quality of living creatures. What are they reflecting? They are reflecting the consciousness. All living creatures come from the same ancestors, are related to each other. Now we come to the Ayurveda. We talk about constitution Ayurveda, then how the constitution works to the physiology and how its DNA is related to epigenetics. So we have genotypes and phenotype. Genotype is makeup, which is responsible for development of phenotype. Phenotype is the body, the physical body. The genotype, what part of the genes are expressing. Two strands are coming from the parents, and two strands are non-changing and stable, just like the pure consciousness or the Brahman does not change. Now, on the physical level, the DNA can be damaged by mutation or radiation or some poisons, but otherwise it does not change, it's stable. Whereas the physical body is always changing. Phenotype, which we call express part of genotype, it is dynamic, changing, and evolving. We are born, we evolve, we change, and finally the phenotype is gone. But the genotype passes on. Now we come to epigenetics. Epigenetics refers to external modification of DNA that turns genes on and off. The DNA is not changing. What is changing is the expression of DNA. Example, there is a methylation, addition of methyl group on the outside of the DNA, which prevents certain genes from expressing. Or the chromatin, which is the protein in which the DNA is present, it condenses and becomes compact, or it relaxes, and that facilitates the gene transcription and DNA replication. So DNA expression changes by contraction or relaxation of the chromatin, or by methylation or microRNA. Okay, it's like this. You have, these are the different bases which are lined up. These are the two loops, and these two loops represents the DNA. They are same loops, just like in Kundalini and yoga they talk about Ida and Pingula. So these are Ida and Pingula in every nucleus, and these are also represents consciousness and Prakriti. Now when it opens up, to open up the DNA, you need force, and that is the Kundalini force. The Kundalini, apart from working in the back of the spine, in the energy body, it also works in each and every DNA to open up so it can express itself. So what is expression? The knowledge is already present in the DNA. And that part of knowledge which is required to express itself, that part of loop opens up. When it opens up, so this is the DNA which is open up. So this knowledge which comes out, we call it messenger RNA. So messenger RNA is bringing the knowledge, the basic knowledge. So this is the value of Rishi, which has the knowledge, and this ultimately transfers into transfer RNA, which puts all the amino acids together, and this is the part of transformation. So this is the Devata, and then finally protein is formed, which we call Chandas, or what is being produced. And these things which is being produced, which create the human body, every cell, this is affected what we do in our life. And there are four main areas which are very important, which affect the life. Our lifestyle and behavior affect what happens to us and our environment. Diet is very important, nutrition is very important, stress management, environmental factors. These are the four factors which are in general taken care of by Ayurveda. Very broad basis of Ayurveda. So whatever we do in this area, lifestyle, behavior, diet, nutrition, stress management, environment, affects what is being produced here, and that changes what is happening here. This thing will be destroyed and new thing will be created. So this, whatever we do to the body, that information goes back to the DNA, and the expression of DNA changes. And this is known as epigenetics, or you can call it this is the karma which is going on in every cell of the body all the time, and it is affected by these things. So we have free will. At the same time, we can, by free will, we can do anything you want to, but there are laws of nature which are whatever we do, we are accountable for that. That is the karma, equal and opposite reaction. So that goes on in the body. So if we do the good things, good part of the DNA will express itself. If we do wrong things, the wrong part of the DNA expresses itself. So the part of the DNA which expresses itself is known as the genotype, which is fixed at birth, which is the birth prakriti in Ayurveda. And this prakriti, which is always changing and growing, which is the phenotype, or this is your manifest prakriti through which we live. Epigenetics, life is 90% controlled by epigenetics. Only 10% is controlled by genetics. And epigenetic factors affecting DNA can be transmitted to the progeny. So it's very important what we do in our life is not only affecting us, it is also affecting our progeny. The other part of epigenetics is that we can change what we are doing. If we are doing something wrong, by lack of knowledge or whatever the reason is, we can change it and change the expression of DNA and fix the problem. Now let me show you some of the experiments which brings out these light particles, the behavior of DNA on light particles. In vacuum state, the photons, the light particles, are unordered. With human DNA, the photons are arranged differently. Remove DNA, the arrangement of the photon order remains. Emotions, the DNA continues following separation, emotional peaks and dips of donor. If you take out the saliva from the mouth of the individual, put it next door and show the movie which creates peaks and dips in the emotions, immediately, instantaneously, you see the responses in the DNA. And that occurs up to 350 miles. So it doesn't make any difference how long the distance is. So the DNA communication through photon is instantaneous. That is why sometimes mother feels if the daughter is maybe 350 miles or 1,000 miles away that something has happened to my child because they share the DNA. Now this can be also controlled by us, application of coherent directed intentions, shifting awareness to the heart, unconditional love, specific imagery of DNA molecule. Different intentions produce different effects on the DNA. They wind or unwind. So what happens? Biophotons, which are created in the human body emits biophotons, it communicates with biophotons, and is made also from the light, which is the prana. We are more than atoms and molecules. We are beings of light as well. And the biophotons are emitted by the human body, can be released through mental intention, and may modulate fundamental processes within the cell to cell communication and DNA. And if our intentions, our mental thought is very strong, just like a laser beam, we can manifest what we want to manifest by creating biophotons which affect the DNA, and DNA communicates through this matrix of energy, which is the prana outside, and you can manifest anything because the image and the intention which goes instantaneously. Behavior, stress, frustration, fear, DNA becomes shorter, tighter, and switches off many codes. So what does it mean? The DNA cannot express itself. So if we get angry and stressful and frustrated, we're hurting ourselves. Feeling of gratitude, love, and appreciation, DNA relaxes and the strands unwind. So DNA can express itself. So it is useful to us. So behavior changes can occur also when we are relaxed and we come in contact with our deep inner self, which is the Brahman. But that is beyond your senses and mind and body. It is everywhere, but it's transcendental. So for that, We have to do yoga, pranayam, and meditation, but that meditation which takes you beyond the mind and body. If you are doing meditation which just instructs with the mind and body, that will not do the trick. Now I'll show you some of the research which shows epigenetic factors and lifestyle. It has been identified that several lifestyle factors such as diet, obesity, physical activity, tobacco smoking, alcohol consumption, environmental pollutions, psychological stress, and working on night shifts, they modified epigenetic factors. So these things can damage our life. But if we change lifestyle, the benefit comes very quickly. This epigenetic studies in human studies, they find that epigenetic alterations occurs in cancer, neurodegenerative disorders, autoimmune disorders, cardiovascular disorders, and other diseases. Environmental stress and epigenetic transgenerational inheritance, which I was talking about, observation suggests ancestor environmental stress may be component of disease etiology in the current populations. So whatever we do, that information gets tagged on to DNA, does not change the DNA, but tagged on and gets passed on to your progeny. Now, look at this. Prostate cancer patients, 30 men with low-risk prostate cancer, which were not treated with surgery, radiation, or hormonal therapy because they didn't want that. They were managed by meditation, vegetarian diet, and breathing exercises and moderate exercise. What they found, it was good results, but look at this, it changes in gene expression. 500 genes were changed. This is a very basic effect which is produced by meditation, breathing exercises, and vegetarian diet. What happened? 453 genes were downregulated, including disease-promoting genes involved in tumor formation. So all this research which I'm showing you, epigenetics, that is what Ayurveda does on a larger basis. The herbs which are used, they interact with histone-modifying enzymes. 56% promote chromatin condensation. We talked about chromatin condensation, relaxation, which modifies the expression of DNA. When that happens, the autoimmune and metabolic and neurodegenerative disorders can be managed this way by changing their expression through use of herbs. Genotype and phenotype. Genotype, two strands, they represent the Purusha and Prakriti, or the consciousness and the prana of the Brahman in the physical body, and the expression is based on past impressions and what is needed for evolution. So genotype is Ayurvedic birth Prakriti or Janam Prakriti. Phenotype is the body, same as the Ayurvedic psychophysiological human constitution, Deha Prakriti. And if Deha Prakriti is not properly working, we call it Vikriti. Now look at this, Purusha and Prakriti in cellular function. Purusha representing Purusha or consciousness represents one loop, and Prakriti or the nature represent the other loop. These are the bases. There are four bases: adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, and they are all connected here. And when these open, this will be the prana, the force, the kundalini which rises, opens up. Otherwise, they are not open. They are Ida and Pingala, which is on both sides, and kundalini is silent. When it opens up by force kundalini, it goes up. And then the expression starts. The first thing which comes out is sattva, dynamism, all the knowledge, and then the rajas, transformation, and tamas, which is being formed. And then this information goes back, which is karma, epigenetics, and whatever information comes, that part of DNA expresses itself. So DNA basically opening and closing, really not doing anything, but without doing anything, it does everything. This is how the supreme reality is. Without doing everything, it creates the whole creation. This is how Brahman works. It is everywhere. Without doing anything, everything is happening. This is happening in human body. Nature represents same way over and over again, everywhere. And Ayurveda constitution phenotype is affected, like we talked about, these four things, and these four things are part of epigenetics because they can change the expression of DNA. That's what we say, that Ayurveda can be understood in the way the epigenetics works. This is the new science which is coming out. The medical complex has not picked it up completely yet, but it is evolution which is occurring right now. Now, human being has two aspects: manifest, ever changing. There is nothing in our manifest organism, the mind and body and everything, always changing. And the unmanifest aspect is never changing. Any manifest aspect is never changing, is always with you. That's what we are calling out pure consciousness or conscious energy, and that is part of you. You're listening to me right now, and that part is with you. You are aware of your thoughts right now. There is a witness there, and that witness is not doing anything, is just watching. When you are sleeping, you are dreaming, you are watching your dreams, and you are in the dreams. So somebody is watching your dreams. That is the witness. Again, then when you are in deep sleep, your mind and body are not working. But when you get up, you say, I had a good night's sleep. So that entity which we call watching is still there. So that witness is 24/7. And that is the part of Brahman through each one of us. And that is, we are experiencing this life, and Brahman is experiencing through each living being the total universe at the same time. So, human being, the ever changing aspect or the manifest aspect, have two parts: the objective and the subjective. Objective is the physical body, and the subjective is the other part is energy sheath. Energy sheath or energy body is between the physical body and the mind. Mind is the subjective aspect, working consciousness, which is mind, intellect, ego, and chitta. Then you have the deep inner self, which we call witness or deep inner self, which is the most important part, which is one which has manifested all these things to experience itself. And the physical body, the function is temporary physical body. It never lasts. It comes and goes. And nobody make it immortal. You can try it. Energy sheath is the life force. It is coming from the prana. And it's the energy, hunger, and thirst. And it's running the life. So life is really energy sheath. When the prana leaves, the physical body does not work. And this life leaves, when the life force leaves, the prana leaves, it goes with your mental part, which is your subtle body. So you are still there. You are eternal beings. You are the light beings which came here and then will leave after experiencing this part of the hemisphere. Now, inner faculty is mind, which is duality, likes and dislikes, happiness, sadness. Intellect judges, discriminates, decides, and then you have chitta or the subconscious, storehouse of memories. Then you have a sense of your ego, sense of experience as a doer. So these are the two things we are aware. This part leaves. This part leaves when we drop the physical body, and this physical body is only for this dimension. And those who have near-death experiences, they come out of the physical body, they go in their subtle body and experience the subtle existences, and they come back and they describe, and all of them describe the similar experiences, which is independent of their belief system, of the religions, and the age, or which part of the planet they are coming from. This thing never changes, remains the same. That is a witness, which is the home of all the laws of nature. And the property of this is bliss. So when you are there, you feel blissful and very peaceful. That's what happens when you're meditating, doing a yoga and pranayama and all those exercises. So we talked about working consciousness already. Now humans, we are part of nature. We are not different from nature. We share unity deep inside and manifest diversity in day-to-day living. But what happens? We forget our deep unity inside. So most of us function with just diversity. Then fear comes and discrimination comes. So I don't like you, and I have my own area of work, my own territory, and all these things come because of that. But if you look at the physical matter of the universe, including humans, is made up of same elementary particles, which are known as bosons and fermions, spin types, which correspond to 5 elements. And these 5 elements, Panch Mahabhutas, create the whole universe, including human body. So we are all coming from the same ancestors. Then you come to the DNA, and all the living species share the same DNA. So we reflect the same pure consciousness depending on the quality and purity of the brain. Depending on the quality of the purity of the brain, that much pure consciousness comes out. So we are really part of the ultimate reality, just like we as a human being have unity as a unit. But look at the body. It's everything is diverse. You have heart, lung, pancreas, kidney, whatever, all they're all different, but they are all working. They automatically know each other. They don't fight with each other. And if something happens, we take care of it. This is how what happens in humans, this is what should be happening in the whole universe. But if we forget what we are, then we start seeing everybody different. And that's what creates a problem. So on the manifest part and the consciousness part, which we use, this part of is taken care by Ayurveda. It also connects to the unmanifest part, and all these things which we do is also affected by epigenetics. So that's why we say that Ayurveda can be explained and equated with epigenetics. And I have more information in the book Dynamic DNA. And thank you very much. If you have questions, we'll go through that now.
Dr. Sharma, thank you so much for this brief but enlightening session that you had. There are many questions being asked by people. There's so many of them I have to really prioritize probably. The first question came from, I think, Siddharth Maini from Bloomberg, Indiana. His question is, could it be possible that it was a big roar or multiple roars instead of a big bang? Namaste. So you mentioned that the whole universe was created with a big bang. So to that, he's asking, was it one big roar or multiple roars?
If you look at the human body, the DNA, wherever it opens up, it's a big bang in the body, and it's happening all over the body, all the time. So you're creating big bangs in the body. That's how you create everything in the body. Same thing is happening outside. When you see big bang because you are part of that big bang. You are inside it, and there are multiple big bangs and there are multiple universes. They are not single universe. Just like in the body, same thing out there. No difference. Yatha pinde tatha brahmande. As is in the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. As in the body, so in the universe. So if you think there are multiple big bangs, they are going on all the time.
Thank you. The next question is, can we then say that the self-realization process technically consists of the capability of the DNA to achieve the ultimate reality?
Okay, it is like this. DNA creates everything. And DNA is representing Brahman. And Brahman is everywhere in the body. So when Krishna says, I'm in you, but you are not in me, so you can see that DNA is everywhere in the body, but the body is not in the DNA. The part which is created is not the body. So to go there, we have to transcend the body and mind. You have to go beyond that. That's what happens when you transcend Turiya. When you meditate, you go Turiya. So you experience what you experience bliss. So when you start living bliss or Turiya Teeth, or transcendental cosmic consciousness with waking, dreaming, sleeping, then you have realized yourself. Because you realize who you are, then you're watching the show of waking, dreaming, and sleeping simultaneously. Until you do not realize yourself, we are living in a in a world make-believe system, and we don't know what the hell is going on.
Thank you. Sue ML from Pittsford, New York, has asked a couple of questions. One is, I'll read one at a time, you answer, then I will bring the other question later. How do these changes affect DNA? The environmental or behavioral changes that you are talking about, how quickly it affects?
Within a week, within a few days, very quickly. It doesn't take much time. That's why the Ayurvedic holistic comprehensive approach, there is no other science which has such a profound, comprehensive, holistic approach which takes care of the mind, takes care of the body, and also teaches you how to go to the ultimate reality by transcending. So it's a total picture.
And is this, the second part of the question is this scientific explanation of reincarnation and also are atoms recycled?
There are so many cases which have been, some MD went through all these 20 cases and went back what they were talking about in children. So you cannot say children were hallucinating and somebody told them. And they went back to those places where they say and confirmed this was correct. The other thing about reincarnation is people say the child is born, so the mother and father, are they the creator then? They create the child and the mind and soul and everything? I don't think so. So when the body is created, the parents create the body, then the soul, the inner being comes. So where does he come from? Where was he before? If he was something before, that is reincarnating. There is lot of material on reincarnation. I have some slides on that, but this was not part of this. That's why I didn't put it there.
Okay, thank you. Ravi Iyer from Troy, Michigan. His question is, what could be the reason that we have so much DNA that does not actually code for proteins?
It's just like Brahman is so huge and we don't know everything about it. So Brahman wanted to experience when he manifested this world. He imagined something, just like if you want to build a house, you have a blueprint and then you build the house. After house is built by the contractor, now you want to experience how it is. So you enter the house and live there. So Brahman imagined this thing. And then this thing manifested through the prana, through the prakriti. And after it's manifested and the brain was created, then it came to the brain to really experience that thing. And to experience that thing, the part of the Brahman which comes just like the palm of the hand is the Brahman, and you look at the fingers at the extension, they have the same property, just like the ocean and the waves. The water is same, so they have same property. So what does it mean? So Brahman knows everything. It rays of Brahman knows everything. If they don't know, they can put their attention and intention and they can know everything. So when he comes into that, those rays comes into that because he wants to experience his own creation. He put amnesia. So when we come to this body, we forget who we are, because if we don't forget, then whatever we do, we know what the hell is going to happen. So there is no fun.
Right.
So it's the totality which put the amnesia, and there are some radical people here who don't like that, so they start meditating, start reviving their family.
Right.
That's what happens. So same thing on the DNA. When you get totally opened up, then you have really know everything.
Another
It has been blocked by the totality.
Thank you.
So he can experience without you knowing. Other, if you know everything, you will mess up. Like going to the movie, you know everything.
Right. Thank you. Another question came from Siddharth Maini from Indiana. So I'm just reading it. It's a long one. Is the birth Prakriti a culmination of ancestors of our ancestors? How do you explain One second, went away. How do you explain the samskaras of the soul when we take birth? Can you please explain the prakriti of DNA with regards to the karma of the individual soul and um, in the form of culmination of karma of our ancestors?
Okay, so there are there are four things involved. If you order something, something else which is part of that package also comes to you. Okay, so we got the body from parents, from male and female. So whatever they have, you decided that this is the particular area of the family. I want to take birth into this area. So when you decide those parents for certain qualities, but with that qualities, other qualities also come, whether you like them or not, because you pick them up. So that is part of that karma which is coming from the ancestors. If the ancestor go million births or something, whatever, it's all those there. So that's why the animal tendencies are present in every human being. Then when the woman is pregnant, what is she doing with his lifestyle, with his behavior, with his diet, digestion, stress, environmental factors? They affect her at that time, so that will affect the baby. So that will be part of that. And then this all enters. We enter. When we enter, we bring our own karma with us. So it's a combination of everything. So in this life, if we try to figure out what is happening, which cause it, is too complex. It's not worth finding out.
Another question came. So in Ayurveda, there is a prakriti and different doshas and dhatu and all this. Can you please explain in scientific, modern scientific terms? Dosha, prakriti, and dhatu.
Dosha, Prakriti, and Dhashu. Prakriti, we just talked about. The birth Prakriti is the genotype. Those are that part of the genes which are expressing. That is fixed. That does not change. You came with that. Then when we start living, the environment and all these factors change. And as long as we remain in balance, that is Deha Prakriti or phenotype. And then if it gets disturbed, we call it Vikriti. Then doshas, why doshas? Dosha means Vat, Pitta, and Kapha. And these are the combination of the five elements. Why we call dosha? Dosha means defect. Why it is defect? Defect is because that was a unity of consciousness. It was single. Brahman is a all pervasive single consciousness. And then it got divided. The one became three. See, I showed you from DNA came out messenger RNA, transfer RNA, and protein. It's a Rishi, Devta, and Chand. So the Sangita, the togetherness of three, the knower, known, and process of knowing, separated out into knower, process of knowing, and known. So one became three. When became three, so it created three gaps in consciousness. One became three, Rishi, Devta, Chand. So these gaps now have to be filled up, and that becomes the Vat, Pit, and Kapha. That's why they are known as doshas. What was the other part?
So prakriti, dhatu, and
Dhatu are the principles which maintain the physiology in the body, governing principles of the physiology. There are
okay.
7 dhatus. Those are the governing principle of the body. People can confuse them with the tissues. They are not really tissues. They are the governing principles which helped bring the tissues in proper order.
Thank you. Another question came from Dr. Narendra Bhalotkar. He is a very well-known cardiologist in New York. His question is plant-based diet and its importance in health.
Plant-based diet is very good, but remember that everybody's constitution is different. There are 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, earth. These are the bosons of fermions, very deep energy particles. So what happens if somebody is made up of space and air? It's a very light elements, and somebody is made up of, let's say, water and earth, which are dense elements. So the digestion will be different in different constitutions. So just saying vegetarian diet does not really explain everything. because if somebody has fire element much more, he can digest very nicely, easily. And those who have lighter element, they cannot even digest properly the vegetarian diet. It has to be cooked, not fresh, not salad, uncooked, and they get problem. So vegetarian diet is much better than non-vegetarian diet, but just simplify that go from non-vegetarian to vegetarian does not really give the complete answer as far as Ayurveda is concerned. But it's definitely better.
Thank you. So Ravi Ayers is saying, an excellent presentation. Thank you. Now his question is, so can we activate that DNA to actually manifest through our daily meditation, pranayama, yoga practice? Any specific DNA that can be modified through practices?
Yeah, studies have shown if you transcend during meditation, what happens, the genes which are concerned with the stress and inflammation, they get down regulated, and those concerned with the cancer, no, with stress, yeah, down regulated, and for the cancer prevention get up regulated.
I see.
And
So
there's more blood supply to the frontal part of the brain, which is your working consciousness, and that hypothalamus and basal ganglia, there is less blood supply, so less thoughts and anxiety is coming to the brain, so you get rested but you're alert, peaceful, blissful, but at the same time alert.
thank you.
There's a lot more work is going on the DNA expression, and there's a lot of good changes occur when you meditate on a very deep level.
And same with pranayama?
Same with pranayama. So that's why it's really not because we do the yoga for the physical body, we do yoga for the pranayama for the energy body, and then we meditate to take the mind to the home of itself. So there are three parts: physical body, mind, and deep inner self. So we have to do everything. We cannot just pick and choose one thing. So yoga, pranayama, meditation, and then physical body has different things to do: proper behavior, proper lifestyle, proper diet, and different things when we do at different times. When we do all those things, the life goes easily and harmoniously. Then you say, I have a freedom, I can do anything. You have, of course, free will. The ultimate reality has given you free will and ultimate unconditional love. So you can do anything you want to do. He's not going to interfere, but he make the laws of nature. If you do something, you are responsible. Ultimate reality has nothing to do with this thing. He is experiencing what you're doing through all the creation because you want to experience. That's it.
So God is not neither rewarding nor punishing. It is us responsible
You got it. You got it. And we are really part of it, just like every cell, every liver, every kidney, they're part of us. So if the liver decides that what I'm doing, the kidney should do, the kidney doesn't know how to behave. I'm going to teach her. So the kidney moves to kidney. Liver moves to kidney and to the spleen and to the heart. What is this? This is cancer. Losing your memory, like we have lost our memory of our original. So what happens when you start interfering with other parts? You screw it up. This happens on the our inside, happens on the outside, same way, no difference. So reviving memory is very important.
And to that, someone asked, I don't have the name, is that you mentioned about transcendental meditation, and his suggestion is, can it be introduced to schools, or so everybody learns as opposed to go to website or some center. Is it a possibility that everybody in school are taught transcendental meditation if it is that effective?
Transcendental meditation is very effective. It's a Vedic meditation which takes you from beyond the mind and body. And as far as introducing in schools, you cannot force anything to anybody. Everybody is an individual. When you talk about children, you have to take the permission of the parents. You have to convince them that this is good. A lot of people may not like. So it comes back to your karma. If you are ready, it will happen. If you're not ready, you cannot force it. If you force somebody, he will start it. Then after some time, he will stop it. So do your best what you can do Improve yourself. Do the right thing. Don't force anything on anybody else. If somebody wants something, give it to him. Don't force it.
Thank you. Sue is asking another question. Are old, unhealed, unresolved emotions accumulated throughout life the eventual cause of Alzheimer's?
No, Alzheimer's, the multiple causes, apart from all those 4 factors which I said, they are part of Alzheimer's, not just one thing. And anybody who takes, Alzheimer's is not that common in India. The reason is because they cook and they take haldi, turmeric, and turmeric has been shown to prevent amyloid formation and also present Alzheimer's. So those who do meditation, those who do breathing exercises, they removed all these things which are accumulating in the brain. When you meditate, you remove a lot of emotions, which is stress-relating emotions, and you have the proper vegetarian diet with the spices, and you take turmeric all the time, and take ghee. Ghee is very good. Ghee increases so-called high density lipoprotein, which is good cholesterol, and turmeric lowers low density lipoprotein, which is bad cholesterol. So there's a combination of a lot of things which everybody can do for himself to
So
prevent those kind of problems.
ghee and haldi is kind of elixir.
Yes. That's why everybody uses it there. Yes.
Okay, another question came that you mentioned that everything we're doing, we're accumulating in our genes and we're passing on to the next generations. Question is it only true for progenies who are directly produced from your body, or beyond that, it can be transmitted through other means?
We transmit through our genes because they work through the photons. So anybody who has our photons, our what do you call, genes, DNA will be affected. But through the environment, we can affect other people also. That is the collective consciousness. What we do, we are part of nature. So what happens with these 5 elements? It spreads completely. So what we do is not limited to us. It is affecting much more our relatives and near friends, but it goes throughout the universe, everything. So if collectively we do something, we can change anything we want to.
So you are in Ohio, Dr. Sharma, and Dr. Purnima is in Boston. Can you affect Dr. Purnima's genetics somehow?
I am more than 300 and I'm more than 350 miles away.
Yes, you can change it yourself. When your intentions, your focus in the mind through meditation becomes, or by some sickness becomes so powerful, focus, just like a laser beam, you can change it. That's how the spontaneous healing occurs. People spontaneously heal with cancer. What happened? Because they were so much focused on getting rid of that cancer, and medical science doesn't know what happened. You did it. You are part of that totality. So you actually can do anything you want to. That's why you hear this guy's walked on water, he walked through the space, blah, blah, blah. You can do anything, but you have to focus your intention. That only happens when you connect it with the totality. Once you get connected, then you can do anything, but then you say, everything is really a dream. Why should I do anything?
Yeah. Dr. Purnima, please.
Yeah, I have I've got few questions here from a different audience. One has been answered. I mean, there's Dr. Agarwal from New Jersey. She asked that now we know that modern medicine is explaining all the diseases based on genetic deletion or alteration in the genes. So gene therapy is like becoming the new I would say the most important thing in most of the diseases. And as we heard that you could change those genes which are causing the disease by following Ayurvedic principles. Is that right? Just to reinforce.
We can change the expression of genes, not the
Expression of genes, yeah, expression of.
And 90% of life is epigenetics. We change the genes. That's why we get sick or we get better. Why? By epigenetics. What we do, it results in good and bad behavior through changing the expression of genes.
Okay, and one more very interesting thing I have here. It says there is an ad and this called the title of the ad is No Om Zone, which is a no chanting, no granola, no Sanskrit practice guide to yoga. Meaning there are people who are promoting that you can accomplish the same thing without following the certain principles of Ayurveda. So what do you think, that this kind of yoga works, that they could chant anything and it should be okay?
See, every individual has free will. They can say anything they want to, and
No, no.
and they
In
learn
your,
how to promote themselves because they learned the business practices, which is the best in US.
Mhm. So in your opinion, will it work, like doing nothing and they have a new, there's a goat yoga, there are so many kind of yogas. So
Yeah, when this happens without doing anything, it can happen to anybody.
mhm.
You don't have to be religious or doing yoga or anything. Some people get enlightened without doing anything. Something happens, all of a sudden, bang, happens. Okay, so
That.
this happens. The totality decides what to do to whom, and what is obstructing your memory to get self-realized. Do you know that? Is the totality, because it is experiencing the different affairs and through each one of us. And if we decide we don't want to do that, we want to know which we are, then you took out one individual who is experiencing. So he's losing some experience. That is why it is difficult to get self-realized. So it's
Mhm.
up to the totality who
Mhm.
decides when you get self-realized, not we. We can
Mhm.
do everything we want to.
Mhm. So there's no definite process as is that we can follow.
No, when you do yoga and all these meditation, all those things, it is very good because it creates bliss and peace. So you live a harmonious, happy life. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying, it is not limited to only those who do something. It can happen by accident to anybody.
Anyway, okay, thank you.
Nimaji, uh, you said there are several other questions.
Sure.
No, I think most of them have been covered by you, but these were the two that I thought were a little bit needed more explanation. So
Okay.
thank you.
So one other specific question came about milk. Um, is the in Ayurveda is called Amrit, but nowadays we are told not to use milk. Do you have any thoughts on that?
There are two kinds of cows, A1 and A2. In US and Western Europe is A1 cows. And that's why you Holstein cows, the big udders, so they give a lot of milk. The milk in A1 cows, the protein which is present in the milk, what we call that protein? Casein. It
Yes.
is mutated. It's not normal. That's why when the children take the cow's milk when you're grown, it causes a lot of bloating, a lot of pain in the stomach. And when people grow up, a lot of people still have this bloating and pain with the milk. And milk is toxic. And it's also associated, some research has shown they are associated with diabetes and all those things. Now, A2 cows are prevalent in India, and their protein is not mutated. They don't have this problem. So when they come from India to here, they drink milk, think same milk. It is not same milk. It is different milk. And it's because different characteristic, it can cause problem. If somebody has a good constitution, milk doesn't cause any problem. Otherwise, cause problem. So the milk has the protein, the cream has protein, ice cream has protein, yogurt has protein. They are not good. The only thing which is okay is ghee, because ghee, when you prepare, you take out the protein. That is why all these problems are related to the milk in US. But those who have problem with milk here, they go back to India. He said, when I was there 1 month, I had no problem. When I come back, it comes back. This is what happens. They don't realize. And now what India is doing to create more milk, they are transporting some of these cows to breed them over there. It is so ignorant.
Right. Actually, Brazil has a huge project. They're bringing cows from India and introducing the milk in the market.
Good for them.
Yes, Purnimaji, please.
Yeah, now they have A2 milk available in different, regular stores like Market Basket or something. How good is that, Dr. Sharma?
That is true, because they are trying to breed them, turn from the A2 to A1, because they're breeding them. It takes time, 5 10 years to come to that. So if they have pure A1 cow, that milk, that should be good. No problem. And
You
the
mean it?
milk should always be boiled first, and then you can cool it down, then drink, because it breaks down the protein and the fat particles, that becomes easily digested. Not take it out from directly from the fridge. Because what happens, your stomach is oven, you're cooking something. So if you put cold thing and try to cook it, just like if you cook out and throw cold water. So that's what people do, take out from the fridge. So you should not drink cold water or cold milk. It's not good, because slowly you are destroying your digestion, digestive fire. That's what all the restaurants do. They bring the water with the ice, which is not good for your digestion.
Another question came from Nirupama Rajadhaksha from New Jersey. What is your opinion on effect of Tulsi on DNA? Is there any?
Tulsi is very good. Tulsi is very purifying. It has antibiotic effect also. It's good for lungs, good for sinuses.
Okay. Another question came from Amy. I don't see the place where she's asking from. The question is, one second. How do you recommend supporting people from an Ayurveda perspective who have cancer and undergoing Western conventional treatment?
You can always combine two things, and the people will come out ahead. And when you combine with the diet, make sure most of this red meat and other animal proteins are reduced in the diet, because they are linked to the cancer propagation and metastasis. And then there are other preparations, like haldi, I said, is very good. Then there are other preparations in Ayurveda which are very good. Then add that with, if the patient can do breathing exercise and yoga. If they cannot do, they cannot do. If they can do, they should do this also. They should learn meditation also. So have a comprehensive program. And some of the oncologists have more knowledge, and some of them are very conservatives. So then they will say, don't do this, don't do that. So you have to go along with that, what happens. But when you combine two things, you come out ahead.
Great. I think there are a few other questions. Those are more common questions. I'm not getting into that. I have a personal question for you.
Sure.
Now, this idea of Ayurveda is epigenetics. This idea you have presented.
Yes.
How is it impacting the scientific society and institutes, those who are reading your book or those who are listening to you? Is there you see like a big jump in research in next decade or so? So people focus more on Ayurveda and yoga based on this new revelations from sciences. So what do you see is happening in next 5 years or 10 years?
What I can tell you, to explain somebody Ayurveda is very difficult, because it's too comprehensive, and you are introducing new terms. So when I get the medical students and residents and other physicians come to the clinic with me, want to learn Ayurveda, I explain them on the basis of the DNA, genotype, phenotype, and epigenetics, and they know this. And then I say, this is what Ayurveda does, and they get it right away.
So how?
As far as the knowledge of Ayurveda, there is already a American Association of Holistic Complementary Medicine, and hundreds and hundreds of physicians are going to there, and they're learning about Ayurveda and other alternative system of medicine and incorporating in their practice. So as time goes on, it is becoming more and more popular. People are knowing much more. And most of the things which I notice is that the public knows much more than the physicians.
Interesting. So, Purnimaji, do you have any other question on your own, or you want to say something?
No. I wanted to actually thank Dr. Sharma for all this knowledge. And I found the book is very nicely written, and I have enjoyed reading it, and I practice whatever is written here, and his other books also. And I actually give it to everybody because I think it's so good. But I would request, because we got a lot of questions about the turmeric and other herbs that we use daily, routinely available, and a lot of people are using those things. So maybe we can request him to have just a webinar just on that topic, and that will be more practical kind of thing than just theory. So that will
The
be
thing
have.
is, for personal problems, the best thing if they're interested in Ayurveda to go to Ayurvedic physician, because then they will start self-treating without really knowing the intricacies of Ayurveda, and that may backfire. So I don't think that's a good idea to teach them about herbs.
No, not to teach, just a use of different commonly used things, like
It is just like commonly used allopathic medicine. Just tell them about this, and if they can get it from the pharmacy by themselves, they will still use, and they
okay.
will screw it up.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you don't have anything, I'll like to thank Dr. Sharma for a very good presentation, and it's been very helpful personally, and I hope everybody who has joined us today has enjoyed it as well, and they got some knowledge and enlightened in some ways. And thank you very much for everybody to join us.
And just to mention, there are so many messages came thanking you, Dr. Sharma. Someone said that thank you so much for this webinar. I appreciate it very much. Look forward to reading Dr. Sharma's book and other books. Amazing, wonderful. Thank you. And so many good messages came. And and some of you asked if this video recording would be available. We'll make it available to all of you who have registered, and it's for free. And you can also connect with Dr. Sharma. Some of you said, can we consult him personally? If he agrees, then we will share that information to him, and he can connect with you later. And this was a wonderful session, and thanks to Dr. Purnima for organizing it. Health is Wealth Foundation is her forum. She's also part of the Boston Center of Excellence, and our goal is to bring together experts like Dr. Sharma, and also support research being done by various institutes, individuals, and we are starting few projects, research projects in Boston area, especially in the area of opioid addiction and pain management, as well as PTSD, using yoga and Ayurveda along with modern medicine, and many such projects. And any one of you on this call would like to join hands, please do contact us, and we would work with you. With that, thank you again, Dr. Sharma, Dr. Purnima, and everybody who joined the call today. It was a wonderful session, and it will send you the link to the video soon. Thank you.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.